Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing a watch launched in 2019. This is the Ulysse Nardin Blast Skeleton X Magma, a compelling combination of carbon fiber and epoxy resin. It's 43 millimeters in diameter, 10.7 millimeters thick, and 50.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Out of the hand and onto the wrist, I can confirm that it feels almost toy-like. With its combination of carbon fiber, epoxy resin, titanium, and sapphire, you could very easily forget it's even there. Now, it's not a thick watch. In spite of being large, it's not particularly tall, so it will fit underneath a lot of sleeves. And again, despite the 43 millimeter diameter, the fact that it's under 51 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip means I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Over the top always exaggerates the width of the watch. The down the barrel shot is the true one, showing that I do have some clearance on either side here. Strap is high grade, as you can see, fully integrated. The lug profile is idiosyncratic, so you're going to need to get the strap custom made or get an OEM one from UN. We have a rather soft conventional hide with a lightly contrasting stitch, calfskin on the bottom as well, and you can see a Ulysse Nardin factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. We have a UN faceted, alternately media blasted and satinated pin buckle right there. And then the case made of carbon fiber and epoxy resin. So you've got carbon fibers in here, but also the epoxy and the resin to add strength. And so we do have some definition in the form of a little fluting that starts on the end of the angular lugs and runs all the way across the watch. We have the center spline projecting out from the lug profile on each side. And then we've got a little bit of an inward step to the bezel with a slight facet on its edge, and then it flattens out dramatically. And the top of the watch is perfectly flat. As you can see, the crystal really is completely flush. We have a screw-fixed individual nameplate on the side, or I should say numbering plate. This is a throwback to Ulysse Nardin's fame as a manufacturer of marine chronometers or navigation clocks for ships, where a plaque on the side would always feature an individual number. And you can see that the strap is fixed to the case using screws and bars, meaning it's more secure than if it were just a spring bar setup. Here we have a crown with a combination of media blast and polish, handsome and subtle contrast that I approve of. Once again, Ulysse Nardin with the anchor, the symbol of the company that was once so noted for deck clocks. The dial and the movement are effectively one, so you're looking at the caliber UN 371 manual wind via a single barrel. It has a 96-hour power reserve, so 4 days, a 3 hertz beat rate, it pivots on 21 joules, and it has a silicon escape wheel, anchor, and balance. Through its Sigatech subsidiary, it's owned since 2006, Ulysse Nardin is probably the smallest company in all of watchmaking that can fabricate its own silicon. So it makes these components, which operate unlubricated, and thus giving better performance and longer service intervals, but they also are anti-magnetic and highly resistant to temperature change, so they keep time true in spite of influences like temperature and magnetism. You can also see that the balance wheel is a skeletal structure with a combination of matte finished white gold masses and then that iridescent reflective blue of silicon. Now there are 4 little eccentric weights that are sort of almost trefoil shaped, and those are turned, and they are used to adjust the timing of the watch. The free-sprung architecture here is very shock resistant and also allows for super precise adjustment, since turning the masses changes the polar moment of the balance, allowing regulation faster or slower as needed. And again, you've got the anchor and the escape wheel unlubricated, operating with silicon fabrication and probably some sort of synthetic diamond coating on top. You can also see there's a large mainspring barrel with a solarized cover. It also features a ratchet wheel on the back. We have the keyless works sort of hidden under the Roman numeral 3. You'll notice that the dial is highly skeletonized with a polished track for the seconds and then polished cantilevers for the indices as well as the hours. There may be some question about whether and to what extent this watch is loomed, and I'm going to clear that up right now. As you can see, the red version of Super Luminova is not particularly super. It's there, but only just. Consider the watch to be unloomed. All the screws are black polished. All of the wheels, as well as the keyless works components, are satinated, so the attention to finishing detail is good. And you can see that when I engage, I'm able to turn the motion works, or the combination of wheels that drive the hands at center, and now we're beating away at that 3 hertz, 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate. And once again, the watch is just supernaturally light. It's also distinctively Ulysse Nardin. I had the managing director of Ulysse Nardin in my studio recently for a interview, and I asked him, now that the two companies are one, how do you view the difference between Ulysse Nardin and Girard-Perregaux? And he says Girard-Perregaux is chocolate, Ulysse Nardin is passion fruit. And this is a very passion fruity looking watch. No two will be alike due to the fact that the carbon fibers and the resin will not set the same way 2 times. Rolling back to the case back one more time, you can see the case back is made of titanium. There is your 50-meter water resistance rating, and we have this highly skeletonized and evacuated base plate that's effectively just a lattice work underneath the drivetrain. You can also see the mainspring coiled up inside of the barrel, and the finishing is high grade. It's not quite Audemars Piguet level, but it's definitely competitive with what you'd see from Zenith or Glasuta Original or JLC, which is high praise considering Ulysse Nardin, now once again independently owned and run and owned by its management. This is a company to cheer for. This is a company to remember for the future. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.